My name is Sarah Katstever, and this presentation is about Andrew Carnegie. This is a picture of Andrew Carnegie and his younger brother Tom. This is Andrew and this is Tom right here. Andrew Carnegie was born on November 25th, 1835 in Dublin to Margaret and Will Carnegie. Will Carnegie was a skilled weaver, and Carnegie was one of the working class families in Dublin, in Scotland. They had a younger son named Tom Carnegie, and he was born in 1843. Because of hard times, the Carnegies left Scotland and moved to Algeria, Pennsylvania. There was a Pittsburgh office company where he worked when he was young, and he was paid $2.50 per week, which was $92 today's time. This is a picture of one of the steel mills that the Carnegie Steel Company owned. The Carnegie Steel Company was a huge company in the late 19th and early 20th century. The company was started by Andrew Carnegie, and he named it after himself, and it was started in 1892 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The company was sold in 1901, which was one of the largest business transactions in the 20th century. This sale made Carnegie one of the richest men in history. This is a map of the steel mills that the Carnegie Steel Company had, which represents how large this company was and how big and impactful it was on the steel industry during that time period. This is a picture of the Homestead strike. This right here is the soldiers coming in to help stop the strike, and the people here and around here are the strikers themselves who worked on the mill. The Homestead strike was from July 1st to November 28th, 1892. The Homestead strike was a bloody strike that was between the workers and the hired Pinkerton security guards. There's much fighting, and in the end, there were 16 people dead, on both sides, the workers as well as the security guards, and many others injured. The goal was for the strike was to get no more wage cuts, but sadly this didn't happen. The result ended in a defeat, sadly. The union workers, which got a big setback in the unionization of the steel workers. This is a picture of some of the big name millionaires at the time who contributed a lot to our economy and have big impact even to this day. They are Andrew Carnegie, John D. Rockefeller, Jay Gould, and J.P. Morgan. Andrew Carnegie was the founder of Carnegie Steel Company, like I said before. John D. Rockefeller was the founder of the Standard Oil. Jay Gould was a railroad executive, and J.P. Morgan was a financier and investment banker. He financed, for example, the railroads. This is a picture of the Carnegie Library in Washington, D.C. Carnegie donated many libraries all around the world. Countries that have a Carnegie Library is US, UK, Ireland, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, South Africa, Siberia, France, the Caribbean, Mauritius, Malaysia, and Fiji. There are 2,509 libraries in total, including at public and private universities. These libraries were built from 1883 to 1929. This is a picture of Carnegie himself and a quote from him, which talks about his philosophy on wealth. Carnegie's philosophy on wealth, which is the extremely wealthy people have a duty to spend money to help the greater good. The quote right here is, "No man becomes rich without himself enriching others." So he talks about giving back to help people, and that's how you become rich. And that you should give back to people because it's important to help other communities, which was a big part, which comes from a big part of his beginnings, which were very much low when he got to learn about the working class. As a person who loves to do charity work and give money to charities, I completely agree with this, and it's a very important thing to do, I believe. This is a political cartoon. This is money that Carnegie had, and this is a picture of Carnegie in his in Scottish clothing. And this is the countries, and he's giving back money. This shows the type of person he is and how important his philosophy was and how he donated lots of money and helped a lot of people around the world by using his philosophy on wealth from the previous slide, which was extremely wealthy people have a duty to spend money to help the greater good. This is a portrait with, right here is Margaret, the daughter. This is Louise, and this is Andrew. Margaret Carnegie Miller, or Margaret Carnegie, was the only child and the heiress of the Carnegie fortune. She was born in 1897 in New York City, New York. She was married to Roswell Miller Jr., but divorced later on. She had 4 children: Louise, Roosevelt III, Barbara, and Margaret. She died in 1990 in Fairfield, Connecticut. Louise Whitfield, or Louise Whitfield Carnegie, was an American philanthropist. She was born in 1857 in New York City. She was married to Andrew Carnegie and had a daughter named Margaret Kennedy. She died in 1946. Andrew Carnegie was a Scottish-American industrialist and philanthropist who died in 1919. A big part of him was his family, and it was important to show a picture of the family he had and later on in his life, and the person who he created that family with. This is a monument to Andrew Carnegie in Dunfermline, Scotland, which is where he was born before he moved to the United States. This monument represents represents not just the company, but also his legacy, which was how he used the wealth that he was able to create to help establish many other colleges, schools, organizations, and associations in his adopted country, and as in many others. For example, the libraries he made around the world. This man was well known for his philanthropy, as well for helping our economy, and we wouldn't have had some of the things we had today if it wasn't for him.